Ohio State fans, you got to stop. You got to stop doing this to yourselves. You guys are panicking. I mean, that's the only way I can think to describe some of the comments that we're getting on our videos, which have just absolutely blown up, by the way. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the amazingness unfold that are the Buckeye Tears. They are aplenty, that's for sure. Now, I'm just joking. You know, I like to play around and all that. I don't think the Buckeyes are actually panicking anything. I mean, they still have the number 5 class, 5 recruiting class for 2026. So, I mean, what do they have to panic about? And, honestly, it's an honest question. I mean, they really don't have much to panic about. I think I might know what they might be panicking about, which I understand I said might like a million times in that sentence. But here's the thing. They couldn't beat Michigan on the field the last 4 years. And that was with, recruiting classes that were, for all intents and purposes, much better than Michigan's. And now Michigan's all of a sudden getting better at recruiting. So yeah, if I'm a Buckeye fan, maybe I am panicking a little bit. Man, I got a little fluttery even thinking about that for them. They might actually be panicking a little bit down in Columbus. The reason is because, guys, I mean, it's June 30th. What is this? 6 recruits in 6 days at this point? It's getting nuts. 4-star safety Andre Clarke JR has committed to Michigan. The 6'1", 185 safety from Richmond, Virginia, chose the Wolverines over Kentucky, Florida State, and SMU. Now, getting a recruiting win over Kentucky might not seem like that big of a deal, but they did steal a running back from us like a year or two ago. So I'm actually kind of proud of this one. I'm happy to see that. You got some good comments coming in. Congrats, young man. You just joined the winningest program in all of college football. That's terrifying. Michigan recruiting's taking off, but the hammer. Oh no, the hammer. Moose, you're coming in clutch. You're awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, just another huge pickup for Michigan on the recruiting trail. And then if it couldn't get any better for Michigan, or possibly even worse for Ohio State, I mean, look at this. Now 2026 4-star edge Julian Walker has been predicted to Michigan by Steve Wiltfong, one of the best in the recruiting business. Got all the recruits coming in. Welcome to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's not count our eggs before they hatch, shall we? Lou is the best recruiter in the country. Lou Esposito from my alma mater, Western Michigan. He came to Michigan on the defensive line. He's been doing a phenomenal job bringing in these defensive line guys. I mean, Julian Walker's coming in, or potentially coming in, and if he does come in, that's going to be absolutely huge. I mean, Michigan's going to be DLU for quite some time. It seems like already the addition of Walker is just going to be massive. It seems like this defense in general, I mean, Wink Martindale has been doing an incredible job with this defense, bringing in the right talent, bringing in that NFL-style defense that I think, like I said in my video, I believe it was on Friday, possibly. Oh, I did a video yesterday, didn't I? Yeah, I think it was yesterday then where I said that the NFL defense is a selling point for high-level recruits for Michigan. And that's huge. And it seems like it's actually working. On the offensive side of things, you got this one. I'm not saying anything. I don't know anything. But I've heard some people are pretty excited about this one. I've heard some people are thinking that maybe Calvin Russell is coming to Michigan. I was under the impression there was another school that we were fighting for. I can't remember. I think it was, Syracuse. That's it. I think for some reason Syracuse was on this list, and maybe I shouldn't say some reason. Maybe they've actually got something going over there in northern New York. But elite wide receiver Calvin Russell is down to Michigan, Florida State, and Oregon. Rumor has it, I don't know that he's a lock, but it's looking really good. And frankly, if that's the case, you got to watch out. Michigan's offense is going to be otherworldly with Bryce Underwood at quarterback and Calvin Russell at wide receiver. Fill out that wide receiver room. Keep Jordan Marshall and Justice Haynes. I don't know how many years remaining Justice Hayes, I can't remember how many years remaining he has. Jordan Marshall is young, so he'll be around for a little bit. That offense is going to be unstoppable. provided they can keep the trenches going. So let's take a look overall at where Michigan is now. They remain at number 9. I believe they were number 9 yesterday as well. At the time of this recording, earlier in the day, they did have the number 8 spot over Alabama. I think Alabama picked up a recruit at some point today. I'm not entirely sure. Ohio State remains at number 5 with their 19 commits. I mean, they have a solid class. They're probably not actually panicking in Columbus. The only reason I would think that they would be is, like I said earlier, that, they haven't been able to beat Michigan on the field for the last 4 years. They're going to say it's because of cheating. Michigan didn't cheat. I don't know how many of you need to hear this and how many times you need to hear it, but Michigan didn't cheat. I'm sorry, that you guys can't seem to accept that. Try therapy, It's expensive, but it's worth it. USC remains the number 1 class overall. They got a good class coming in. Here's a look at the Big Ten picture. USC number 1, Ohio State number 2, Michigan number 3, now moving up to that 3 spot over Penn State. I believe they've had that 3 spot over Penn State for the last couple of days now. But taking it as of today as well. Oh yeah, that's some random news. I forgot I was looking at this. Texas State officially leaving the Sun Belt to join the revamped Pac-12. So the Pac-12 is settling nicely into its new place in the group of 5. So congratulations to the Pac-12 and to Texas State, I guess. So on this this recruiting tear that Michigan's been on has been fairly amazing for us Wolverine fans. I won't lie to you. It's been absolutely incredible. I think the best part about it are the amount of Buckeye tears that have been showing up in our comment section. Like I said, these videos have been blowing up, and I think it's hilarious. And it's probably because of my clickbait titles. Michigan is dominating recruiting. This is our back end. That's our actual channel. Michigan stuns Ohio State with massive recruiting win. I mean, yeah, the titles are clickbaity. It's football. We're just gonna laugh about it, and it's gonna be fun. If you've got a problem with it, probably don't tune into the channel. Whatever. Got this comment from Jeffrey Leoner. Really, if Michigan is on a recruiting heater, then Ohio State must be on fire, with currently being ranked number 2 class nationally. That's terrible grammar. By 2 of the 3 recruiting services. The third has them at number 3. Where is Michigan ranked? Heart. Is that a Buckeye? A nut of some kind and a football emoji. Yeah, I mean, he's right. Ohio State's always been really good at recruiting. There's no hate here for Ohio State's recruiting ability. They're incredible recruiters. It's the on-field product that seems to have been the issue, at least against Michigan, which, that's why last season was such an enigma. You guys had no business losing that game to Michigan, but you did. So that's it. Recruiting was never the issue for you guys. And the only reason that Michigan fans are excited right now is because our on-field product has been pretty solid the last 4 years, especially against you guys, especially against Ohio State. And now we're getting some of our best recruiting classes ever on top of that. So if the on-field results stay the same, and then the recruiting meets up to match that, the on-field results may end up being a point where we're talking about Michigan as national title contenders essentially every year for the foreseeable future. I'm not saying that that's the case. I'm not saying that's definitively what's going to happen. I'm saying that the conversation would at least be valid at that point. Randy the Savage 1105 says, I think Michigan recruiting has a little bone to pick with Bama when they snagged Ivan Taylor from them. So they snagged Ty Haywood last recruiting cycle. Yeah. I think Michigan, the fact that Michigan is out recruiting Alabama, I mean, again, not in the overall rankings right now, but Michigan has stolen a couple of recruits from Alabama this cycle, which is just kind of incredible. Speaking as a Michigan fan, that's just kind of insane. Were there these guys will hit the portal after a 2-year bowl ban. OSU Max says that. Yeah, no, I think that you'd be surprised. I don't think that a 2-year bowl ban is coming. And I think that these recruits, their agents, their parents, they're all doing their due diligence. Why would they send their kids to a school that's about to get that kind of a punishment? A lot of Buckeye fans would probably say, well, it's because Michigan is dropping the bags for these recruits. Maybe they are, but everybody's dropping bags for recruits. So that's only really a selling point for the big name schools, the schools that have the money. And Big Ten, the Big Ten has a lot of schools that have a lot of money. The money is actually more so in the Big Ten schools than it is for the SEC schools. At least that's how I'm to understand it right now. So with that being said, though, there's money all over the place. Like if an SEC school wants a recruit bad enough, they're going to find the bag. They're going to find the money to get them there. So money is really, everybody's offering money. They're coming to Michigan because they want to win championships. They're going to Ohio State because they want to win championships. They're going to Oregon because they want to try to win a championship. Maybe. We'll see. They won the Big Ten in their first year. That's nothing to sniff at, but they really only had to play Ohio State for it. And the only reason they won that game is because Will Howard decided to take a nap in the middle of a play. So, it is what it is. But in any case, money has nothing to do with it anymore. Michigan is doing enough to keep up with the other schools and then using who they are, the culture, the winning, the coaching, the NFL ties, the pipeline to the NFL. They're using that as selling points. Gaming Tremor says, breaking news, ranking agencies, have now dropped Meadows to a 3-star in the last 24 hours, citing their immense disappointment that he didn't go to Ohio State as the reason for his rating drop. That's right. So, what was his name? Carter Meadows, committed yesterday, I believe it was. Yep, 629. Massive 4-star pickup. Literally and figuratively, for the defensive line. Lou Esposito just coming in clutch. But yeah, so he is ranked as a 5-star from On3. Now, I saw that Rivals had him ranked as a 4-star, and Rivals and On3 just finalized their merging today. This is merging. Just finalized their merger today. So Rivals is now a part of On3. Now, does that mean that On3 is going to start using Rivals recruiting services, whatever? I don't know. I don't know what that's going to mean necessarily. I just know that On3 had him listed as a 5-star in articles. And then if you looked at On3's website, he was listed as a 4-star. If you looked at Rivals, he was listed as a 4-star. 247 had him as a 4-star. It is what it is. Maybe he's actually a 5-star. We'll see what happens. Let's see. I'm hoping we can keep Wink for a few more years to work with these guys. Yeah, I hope so too. The good news about having someone like Wink Martindale is that he's gotten fired from a couple of NFL jobs. So maybe he's not a good NFL coordinator, but really good in college. That is entirely possible. And it would be just kind of amazing if that was the case. Gregory Rapier 7332 says, wow, Michigan is hammering it on the recruiting trail. Who knew a school like them with all their issues could even come close to doing this well? Some people would call Michigan delusional for even thinking something like this recruiting run could ever happen, or even happen. With the hammer coming down soon, it's a wonder why any kid would be naive enough to commit to Michigan football. Oh, maybe they have seen how Michigan hammers teams even in a down year like last year. You think? Yeah. Yeah, I think he is being sarcastic. So I think he's saying like, oh yeah, these kids, these parents, these agents, whatever, they're seeing Michigan destroy teams or beat teams that they shouldn't be beating in a down year. And they don't actually think that the hammer is coming. So that's why they're committing. So all of these Ohio State fans that are saying like, oh, Michigan, they're going to lose all of these players in the transfer portal as soon as the hammer comes. They wouldn't have committed if they thought the hammer was coming. Okay, if they were, you're talking about 4 years, 3 to 4 years, where yes, you can transfer, and maybe that's maybe that's enough for these kids to be like, we'll give Michigan a chance, but as soon as the hammer comes down, we're out. Okay, well, the transfer portal doesn't open up for a couple of months here. So they're not going to be able to leave before the season starts. So are they going to sit out the season and try and get an extra year of eligibility? I don't know. How does that necessarily work? I'm not entirely sure. I do know that they would be wasting their time if they were coming to Michigan, crossing their fingers that the hammer doesn't come, and then if it does, sitting out this season and then transferring in the winter. That would be kind of dumb. Ross Shixen 6796. Do I have time for one more? Yeah, I'll do this one. Oh no, you misunderstood. He sucks and Ohio never wanted him anyways. Like every other recruit they lose out on. Oh, there's no more debate. He committed to Michigan, so he's a 4-star now. Yeah, it does seem like, and I've seen Ohio State fans complain about this too. It seems like whenever a recruit that is a 5-star commits to a Big Ten school in general, they get downgraded to a 4-star. I don't know. But then there was this one player I saw who was a 4-star commit to like Alabama, I think it was, and they bumped him up to a 5-star. I don't know. There was one more that I saw that was really an interesting one. Why would the B3 Stan Man 946? Thanks for hanging out, man. Why would the title read Michigan stuns Ohio State? Dude, nice try. OSU ain't never worried about recruits. We are a recruiting machine, little buddy. Fire emoji. Fire emoji. You are correct. Why would the title read this? It makes no sense. I will have to fire our social media person. That's me. I'll tell you why the title reads that. It gets clicks. It does, and I'm not ashamed of. Honestly, it gets clicks, which is great. We like the clicks. Thank you for the clicks. We want more of those clicks. But it also gets people like you to click on it. And that's really the best part, is when people like you, and I'm sure you're a nice guy, but your comment's kind of funny, so I'm going to pick on you because you commented, so you're asking for it. Yes, the title gets clicks in general, but it's the people that click that makes it so worth it to post the clickbaity titles. I mean, Natty times 517 until the hammer drops. Yeah, this is why I do it. It's because it's hilarious. I mean, and they just keep letting it happen. They keep commenting ridiculous things. I mean, if they wanted me to stop with the clickbaity titles, stop commenting. But you're commenting. You're pushing us right up the YouTube algorithm, and it's great. Our channel has blown up these past 2 weeks. It has been amazing. There was one more I remembered. At Desh Cantor says, fun fact, Michigan's generational 2023 15-0 national championship team had the 14th most talented roster in college football. Last season, Michigan had the 6th best recruiting class. Right now for 2026, we're at number 9 and moving up. There's no reason to think in 27 and 28 won't be seasons to challenge for another championship. This season will likely be 10-2. I actually think 11-1, maybe 12-0. I do. With a shallow playoff run, but that 10-2 will likely include wins over Sparty and the Buckeyes, so it's all good. I agree. For the most part, I agree. I think Michigan can go 11-1. I know people are worried about Oklahoma. I don't really see it, but I also don't love night road games at SEC teams. So we'll see. I mean, Bryce Underwood's going to be under a lot of pressure there. We'll just see what happens. I think it'll be great immersion therapy, if you will, to get him down there early and then see how he does with it the rest of the season. It'll be a great experience for him. But either way, I think 11-1 in personally. But for the rest of this point, 2027, 2028, why not 2026? A lot of these players coming in, I'm not saying that they're plug and play, but I am thinking that, they'll actually see some playing time this year. They may be ready sooner than later. So 2026, maybe that's an even deeper playoff run, likely with wins over Ohio State and Michigan State again. In 27, why doesn't Michigan win a natty in 27? Why not in 28? My opinion is that I think Michigan wins another national championship within the next 5 years, at least the next 5 years. I think I'm going to leave it right there. And that's a great question to ask you guys in the comment section. Do you think Michigan wins a national championship within the next 5 years? I think they will, because Sharon Moore is cooking. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Like I said, this place has been blowing up and it's been awesome. We can't thank you enough for coming and hanging out. Comment your thoughts in the comment section. Give the video a like. Don't forget, we do go live 8:30 p.m. Wednesday nights, usually every week. But if not, I'll let you know. Other than that, we will see you in the next video.